in order, please. City of Washington Common Council meeting, June 27th, 2022, 6:30 p.m. Can we have a moment of silence for our veterans, please? Okay, thank you. Pledge allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And may we have roll call, please?
Councilman Lunsford.
Here.
Councilman Brown.
Here.
Councilman Bress.
Here.
Councilman Campton.
Here.
Councilman Emmons.
Here.
Councilman Dahl.
Here.
Councilman Showalter.
Here. Okay. Let the record show that Tim Dan is not present tonight. He's absent tonight. First thing we got is approval of minutes of June 13th, 2022, regular meeting in front of you tonight. Any concerns or comments, corrections on the minutes tonight?
I move we approve those as written.
Okay, Councilman Dahl makes a motion to approve as written.
Second.
Councilman Brown seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and also we have the written presentation of claims tonight in front of you. Any questions or someone's calling in on a question?
The amount was quite large.
Very
this,
large.
this
We all
week.
noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were sitting down when you saw that or not, but on the, part, one of them is just a transfer. The self-insurance, it comes out of one account, goes into another account and gets paid, so that's kind of a double.
Yeah.
And then the other large one, of course, was in, we have a check this week, and it's gonna be big, so.
Yeah, so at 1,078,201, just, this is a transfer through the system, yeah. And we paid a bond and we paid him, yeah, that made it, yeah, so.
I make a motion, we pay the claim. Get sent to those board of
Okay,
works.
Councilman Grass makes a motion to send the claims to the Board of Works for approval.
I'll second this.
Councilman Emmons seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Thank you, abstained, yes, thank you. Okay, comments by the members of the public other than what's on the agenda tonight. And Tracy, that's where I'll have you speak because Debbie didn't get you on the agenda officially, so, but this is the place that will, if you want, go ahead.
Yeah, I can go. Well, thanks for letting me come and speak. So, I'm TC Cook with the Powerhouse. We are coming today to ask for $100,000 to go towards our new building that we are planning on building right there on the property. I'll spread these out here. Can everybody see this okay? So we've got the outside view, and then we also got the inside view of that on the first floor there. $100,000 total project cost is 1.6, and that's with $300,000 worth of contingencies. We put that in there. Obviously, at the time we were doing all this, prices of everything were increasing, still are. Wood's come down, but I've been in contact with our contractor, Tabor Owens, and they said we're pretty close still. So we'll see how this all fares out when we get started to break ground. Just an overview of the Powerhouse. Most of you guys know us, know who we are, know where we're at. We're right there on Main Street, right across from Hudson's, whatever you, yeah, same thing. Yeah, so right across from those guys. For 22 years, going on 23 in September, our mission is to build relationships with youth in order to share the gospel. Our vision is to be the go-to resource for youth in the tri-state area. Programs that we offer, our biggest program is after school program. As of the last day of school, we had 79 kids show up for the last day of school, and food was provided by our neighbors across the street there, which we greatly appreciated that for that project. So we had a good time. The other thing that we have VITs, which is a leadership program that we have in there. TRT, where we go into the schools and we share, it's about a 5 to 10 minute quick gospel message to the junior high. The last time we were able to come in there because COVID hit, and they still had some regulations going on this year for at least a little part of the year. When that happened, we were averaging almost 200 in the 7th and 8th grade together that were showing up every single Thursday for that. And we actually had to split up the guys and girls because they got so large. They said we need to do opposite days for each of them because it was getting so big. We have Bible study after Powerhouse hours. We have PH Media, adventure trips, the Hub, which is a Friday night thing that will be getting brought back, Lord willing, after this building is built. Youth night, where we go and team up with youth pastors, have all the youth in the community come in our Power Up program where we build job training, life skills for teenagers. So that's just some of our programs. The problem that we have right now is we have outgrown our building. So we feed kids every day in our after school program. We have a dining room table that seats 8. And we can't really fit any bigger dining room table. So you can imagine kids sitting on the ground, kids sitting outside when it's nice. But when it's cold, kids are on the floor trying to eat, trying to get we just kind of cram in there. Everybody kind of deals, but it's just not ideal. So obviously you see in the new building we have a cafeteria that will fit actually 70 youth in there at a time. So if we have extra, we can kind of funnel in and out as we go. We are strategically placed 2 blocks from the school. That's why we decided to build on that property and not actually go and look for other property. Because they're able to walk down from the junior high and high school, that we just thought that was our best placement for that. The shell building, just the shell of the building, is $840,000, and then the rest to finish it will be that $460,000 inside, and then obviously we have that $300 in contingency. So far to date, we have raised $658,000 just in the community, and that's in less than a year since we've been just having one-on-one meetings with people in the community to see if they want to team up with us with this project. Are there any questions about this project?
Do you need it? Sorry. Will the old building stay, or?
Our board has discussed that. We decided to keep the old building for about 2 years. We've got some programs, and I actually just got off the phone with DCS about couple programs that could really help Davis County youth out, and we would utilize that building for that program. So we want to keep it. If we can't get a program off and running and working in there that coincides with our mission, then we would probably end up tearing it down. Yeah.
2 questions. When do you think you're going to start building?
So our goal, we're going to start building once we get 1.3 raised. So 1.3 is when we're going to start building. Then we think we get the contingencies as we go if that happens. And our hope is to start actually breaking ground next spring. Contractors are still pushed out quite a bit. Tabor Owens is still pushed out quite a bit. So we're hoping to be on the docket next spring.
And you would need all that $100,000 then?
We would just need it at least pledged. Yeah. So if it works, if it helps, a lot of people are splitting that up into 2-year stints. So they would do, for this case, it'd be 50 this year, 50 next year.
So you say you've raised $600,000, and how much do you have in contingencies, or is that part of it?
I'm sorry?
You said you have contingencies. Is that part of the $600,000, or do you have more money raised?
When I say contingencies, that is, we're gonna raise more than what we need.
Oh, so that's not people that have already.
658,000 are people already pledged or given, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have written pledges for those. Yep. Any other questions on that?
So what all, can you break down the rooms, like?
Yeah. So this will face, it'll face north and south. So the north will be the entrance. So we have an entranceway right here. This is where we'll sign in all the kids. We have a program that actually signs kids in and then it texts parents that they're there. So we have that right here. Right now, as we speak, you walk through the door, you're in the living room. If you've been in there, you sign in and there's no spots for even book bags or anything like that. So kids we have a corner, they just kind of pile up. We're gonna have right here cubby holes. So that way they kind of have a slot where they can keep it off the ground, they can have it for that. And then we have office space and boardroom space in this area. When you walk through here, my main goal was to be able to stand at this corner and see everything going on. And so we have a 3-level house. We got the upstairs, main floor, and the basement. And there's all kinds of rooms in those levels. So we have to have it staff volunteered to be able to open those areas. We don't allow them open by themselves. Plus we have the outside at this point. If I'm standing right here, this is a half wall. I can see everything going on in that building. So now what that'll do for us is it will allow for either, if have to be, a little less staff, but if we have the max staff that we need, then it actually allows them to focus on the teenagers instead of having to keep your head on a swivel to make sure no one's picking on somebody or something like that, right? And then we have a stage here and a green room. What that's for, we have concerts that we put on at least 2 a year, is what we've been doing since I've been there. And now we'll be able to actually host those in our own building. So that cuts out some of the rental fee that we've had to have for concerts or different things. Kitchen area right here, walk-in freezers and coolers. We have 4 freezers plugged in right now, and then we have 3 refrigerators. So we said it's probably a time to get a little bit bigger refrigerators, and that's so we can just have them all in one spot. So we'll be able to walk in there and serve. Now we've also, because of the way this building is set up, we've also already been contacted by the Homeschool Co-Op. They have about 250 kids in Davis County in homeschool. I don't know if you guys knew about that. And they actually travel and play basketball, and people come in and do that. They have nowhere that they really like to host. Simon J. Gray would be great, but they're always doing their 3-on-3s or anything like that. So they said they would actually rent this facility out and host it. Also in talk with some of the Boyds who actually host the 3rd grade all the way up to 6th grade basketball thing. They said if this is regulation size, they need another gym, so they would utilize this gym if it was regulation size for that purpose. So they would rent that out also. So it'll create some income also as we build. How much? We don't really know yet, but it's there for options. And then there's an upstairs to everything but the gym. So from the stage on in the gym, there's upstairs for this all the way around, and that we're going to leave unfinished. We have a couple ideas of some projects, but we just want to make sure we can get our after-school program taken care of first before we do anything else.
So where do you get your funding to run this?
Yeah, it's 96% donations. The other percentage is through like Community Foundation, United Way. Those help with special projects that we do. Our adventure trips are funded through those. Yeah. We operate on a pretty small budget, and so the key to this building is it is going to cost more to run. It just will. And so with that contingency that I talked about, $300,000, if we do not, and I tell all donors this, if we do not actually need that, we have set up a foundation with our community foundation, and that's going to go in what we call a maintenance fund. And so that maintenance fund will help us, and it'll grow, and it'll help us to actually then maintain this building over time. About 20 years, and Simon J. Graver's a good point, 20 years, these things start to break down, need new AC units, need those things. We need to make sure we have money there for the future.
So my question to the council, because nobody's been here longer now, has this happened before where we gave money to projects like this?
Not specifically a religious type project, but I mean, our edit fund, for youth activities, we've given, to soccer.
This kind of money,
Smaller,
but
yeah.
this kind of,
Not on this scale.
And as far as the religious is concerned, obviously we all know that I'm a believer. Most people who know me know that. However, you do not have to be a believer to come there. That is not at all. We're not going to force. That's why a lot of our stuff is like after school or after the Powerhouse closes, we have a Bible study. That's for any kid that wants to come. We don't force anybody, any of those things. We have some guidelines that they have to follow, but I think all of us would agree on those guidelines anyway. So, but we are a nonprofit, yes.
It is budget time. We are starting to talk budget now. We'll have to look at it because like the edit fund, we have to look at that. There's
Committed a lot of
yeah,
money
we've
to
got a lot going on, but we got budget talks, and this group will meet and we'll just have to discuss it if it's a possibility.
Yeah, it's a good program if we can find.
Still find money.
When do you need an answer by?
I would love to have an answer in a couple months, yeah,
So
at max,
we
yeah.
figured out through budget
Yeah.
time.
Most of the time, we're pretty well done with the budget at the end of July.
Yeah,
You know, we kinda know what's going on.
and just to top it off, this does help, us go out and attract more grants to finish off the project. To show that the city, is behind us on that is a big deal. Obviously already raising the 658, is a big deal, they do look at that, but knowing that your actual city's behind you, it does help a whole lot.
So have you talked to, are going to talk to the county and see if they,
Yes, sir, I sure have. Yeah, talked to the commissioners were a yay, but they don't have control of the money, right? So the council then met, and I met with them, and so they just finished deciding where ARPA funds were going, to my knowledge. I don't wanna speak for them, but to my knowledge. And so now they're bringing in the other, which would be mine, even in that, to say, hey, where can we get this funds for?
And they're gonna get back with you,
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yep.
later time.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all we can do. We can just discuss it and.
Yeah, you came the right time. We're gonna be doing budget stuff. so.
And that's kinda what I told him.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free, contact me. You can call the Powerhouse even, and then you can get hold of me that way. Tracy at WashingtonPowerhouse.org, you can email me. I can even send you renderings and all that stuff if you have any questions.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
thanks for
Appreciate
coming.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, no resolutions tonight. Any other comments from the public before we go on? It's not on the agenda. Okay, hearing none. We'll move on. No resolutions. Ordinances, we have a few here. First of all, we have, and I'll just talk, we had the introduction of ordinance 16-2022 last meeting, and we tabled it. And, we gotta have a public hearing, a final reading, but I did get an answer for what David asked about, and after the annexation takes place, it is the road and both sides of the road, as far as the,
I saw that afterwards when I read it. I'm still concerned about the 1/8 perimeter, if we don't bring in the other property also.
and Jonathan couldn't be here. He asked if he could not, he had something else going on, and,
The 1/8 perimeter of being
Yeah,
non-contingency.
Yeah, because
Contingency.
Steinwell's property wasn't included. And they ought to
and I think he's supposed to.
this first and then this one.
And I think he's supposed to be, he had two ordinances drawn up, and Tim wasn't here tonight, and the other one was part of that, and, you know,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Tim gets back, I can
Probably that
definitely
would
ask
make more
it.
sense.
Yes, it's not an 1/8 contiguous unless you do that, gotta check that.
So that'd make
Right.
it makes sense, we have to do that one.
Or you can do them both at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's what, yeah, and that's what they're wanting to do. When we started this, they wanted to come back. Tim didn't get it to us tonight. He was supposed to have the other one to us, and then we was gonna have public hearing final reading next time, but we don't have this, we don't have the other ordinance in front of us right now.
So you say since that is
So we'll
our
have to still.
road that we're, is it our specs, are we gonna have to spend $1 million?
Probably not.
Well, that could be expensive probably.
I mean,
Without core
Maybe
samples drilled out on the road and some sort of engineering study, I mean, anybody's answer would be probably.
Okay, but right now it looks,
Yeah, it's,
it's not cracking, it's
general
not,
appearance, it seems to be in decent condition. For
The width
amount of
is, you know, the
traffic
big
that it
thing.
carries every day.
the width is
Yeah,
gonna be
it's
the big,
still in good shape.
Right.
the biggest problem. It's already been talked about a little bit, is the width.
But I think some of that's coming off of Old National Highway, that's gonna be fixed anyway.
Yeah, I mean, so that's,
So, as much traffic as this gonna generate, I mean, I don't know what the traffic counts are out there right now. We probably never run or anything, study out there, have we?
and I might be able, SIDC does that sometime, I don't know.
I mean, I'd be interested to see what the traffic count is past the nursing home and Cherry Trees.
Yeah, past that, go past this
You know,
property.
what is that traffic count? You know, because is it a lot? This is gonna generate some, so I mean,
Might generate at least to this point.
I mean, if it's so much, when you make it, put a turning
So
lane in?
can we have the contractor, developers do ingress and egress,
And,
Turning lane?
turning lanes?
Yeah, but we can get, Dennis, we can contact Dennis and maybe he can help us with that because he is the engineer on this project.
Right.
I figured we have to do turn lane. I mean, I figured that's probably a given.
But the developers should.
Yeah,
do it.
and I think Dennis has offered to do, I think we can reach out to Dennis after this meeting and, make him do some work for us.
Cause the first part is how many houses?
25.
And how many did Deer Creek do?
They're gonna be probably 25 or around the 25 mark at when it's all.
And you got 25 townhouses, and you got.
Yeah.
These
Well,
two
20
subdivision,
Yeah, yeah,
so you're gonna have 40 or 50.
about 50, yeah, probably, yeah,
And they'll
45.
have to have two entrances.
Well, the subdivision doesn't have enough
No.
lots to trigger the 2 entrances. The subdivision is just one
Oh,
lot.
that first part, yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got,
Town-
townhouses are separate.
On the north end. Yeah, we got table, I mean, we'll have to get some more,
I move we table it till.
we'll get some more. And I just wanna bring it up because it was on the agenda, I mean, but it's tabled right now, we wasn't planning on doing that until next meeting. If we don't get these answers, then we'll just have to,
Table it again.
push it back until we get everything we need.
Right.
I'll look on that traffic count and see if it's a possibility, SIDC does
It'd
that.
just be interesting to see what it is past that.
Yeah, I think I'll reach out to Greg, Jones and see if that's a possibility. Okay.
Well, that actually is a road in and out of the west side, I mean, east, Desert Road coming off 257.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the big question mark,
That's the big question.
yeah.
The people cutting through.
Yeah, and there has been some people that live out that area that has expressed their opinion on that already. I mean, a little bit, not much. Okay, we'll do that. I'll reach out to Dennis and reach out to Greg and see what we can come up with and report back to you. Okay, moving on. First thing we got is final reading of 17-2022 entitled Ordinance Rezoning Property on Business Highway 50 East and Northeast 21st Street. Can I have a motion to
So moved.
read this ordinance?
By title only.
By title only.
Okay, Councilman Campbell makes a motion to read this ordinance by title only. Second. By Councilman Showalter, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance number 17-2022, an ordinance rezoning property on Business Highway 50 East and Northeast 21st Street. Okay, any questions or?
I would we approve it.
I'll second.
Okay, Councilman Dahl makes a motion to approve and Councilman Campton second. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Munster,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Gress,
Aye.
Councilman Campton,
Aye.
Councilman Emmons,
Aye.
Councilman Dahl,
Aye.
Councilman Showalter.
Aye.
Okay, the ordinance is adopted. All right. Next we have introduction of ordinance 18-2022, entitled an ordinance amending compensation ordinance number 18-2021 of the city of Washington, Indiana for the year of 2022.
I'll make a motion to read that ordinance.
Okay, Councilman Campbell makes a motion to read this ordinance. Councilman Gress seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance number 18-2022, an ordinance amending compensation ordinance number 18-2021 of the city of Washington, Indiana for the year of 2022. Whereas the 2022 compensation ordinance of the city of Washington, Indiana, namely ordinance number 18-2021, was passed October 12th, 2021. And whereas it has become necessary to amend the wages of a certain position in the wastewater department. Be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of Washington, Indiana, that the above-mentioned ordinance 18-2021 be amended as follows. Section 1, the wastewater department shall have the following position added in ordinance number 18-2021 shall be amended as follows. Wastewater department. 1 certified operator with IDEM Class 3 credentials and authority. Hourly wage $26.34. Section 2, all other positions and amounts deleted in Ordinance 18-2021 shall remain the same. Section 3, the Washington Code of Ordinance is hereby amended in conformity with the terms of this ordinance. Section 4, this ordinance shall be in full force and effective immediately upon passage by the Common Council of the City of Washington. All other provisions of the Ordinance 18-2021 shall remain in effect. Passed by the Common Council of the City of Washington, Davis County, Indiana, this blank day of blank 2022.
What was the purpose?
This is the position out there at the wastewater. When Scott left, we had to move some things around, and this Dirk has passed to, he's the Class 3 signature operator for the City of Washington. He passed his test, and Scott was that, but we had to, and Roger Patterson's still assistant superintendent, so we had to make a position. Well, we didn't have to, we wanted to make a position for the wastewater department for him. He's temporarily, he's the head operator right now, and he becomes basically, certified operator for IDEM and our credentials that sign off on for the City of Washington.
So you said one, but it doesn't say it on here?
Well, I said one, but no, it
could be more than one?
we only pay one certification for Class 3. There will only be one Class 3 certification.
So should it say one then?
It don't,
Because if other employees wanna get it, they can still get it.
yeah, we have put things like that already in place where other people have like Class 1, Class 2, there's more than one, and they get paid the certification pay. They don't say the number in the ordinance. It just says Class 1 certification pay, Class 2 certification pay, and Class 3. It don't ever say amount. So we have more than one person being Class 2 right now. And other departments too. I mean, it's just not wastewater, it falls in other categories.
I thought we always had the numbers though, how many they had.
Just like fire and all,
Like in the
and all the
police.
other stuff, we never did have the number.
I thought at least we had so many
We have
breath
only,
operators and so many, I mean, we had a number, didn't we?
Yeah, we always slotted certain spots. I don't know the number.
yeah, and just like EMS, we never did say the number, but we just had so many that we approved.
But that's an amount just for having the certification,
Yes.
in addition to the regular salary.
The certification we had,
Yeah, that is, yeah.
But
This is
the
a
regular
wage,
salary.
this is a wage, yes.
just a position.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a position, yes.
So maybe it should say one.
I think you're probably right.
So the cert pay is
Eliminating
included in
confusion.
this pay?
Huh?
The cert pay is included in this wage? Or we're
you
raising
get
the
a cert.
wage?
No, there's a this is
Cert
just a
pay.
wage. But the thing is, when, when we talk superintendent or assistant superintendent, we just never have a,
Well, that's
amount of it.
But that's a separate ordinance, though, it's just one
Yeah.
person, we know that's one person.
Yeah.
This is a position underneath that, it would be, I mean, I agree with, I think you're training, we probably need to say one.
I just don't want it to be.
Just to
a
be
mess
kinda
of
equal
all.
with the other ones, and then we're not kinda confused.
And somebody will come up and say, I just got my Class 3, good raise.
okay.
Council spelled wrong on Rollins, so.
Well, just put my name right.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Okay, well, he's gonna, because there again, when he, well, just like we said the other day on, the other cert pay, he's been doing the job now for a month. And just like we said before, he's been doing the job, and so we was gonna ask for a suspension of rules, just for that reason, so we could pay him.
I don't have any problem with doing that, we can still add one, and we can just do a
Mhm.
second reading as amended with one, and then
Yeah,
he can make the changes afterwards, as long as it's in the record, so.
right,
I still don't have any problem with
right.
suspending the rules, if he's doing the job and to pay him,
Yeah.
I don't have that.
That's the only reason, that would be the only reason to do it, just to get things,
So you wanna have an amendment to insert the word one.
One.
As part of certified.
I agree with Randy, though,
Mhm.
it needs to be there.
I second that.
okay, Councilman Brown makes a motion motion to amend the ordinance to read one certified operator with IDM Class 3 credentials and authority. Councilman Dahl seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Then I'll make a motion to suspend.
Okay, and Councilman Campton makes a motion to suspend the
I'll
rules.
second that.
Second by Councilman Emmons. Roll call vote, yes.
Councilman Lunsford,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Gress,
Aye.
Councilman Campton,
Aye.
Councilman Emmons,
Aye.
Councilman Dahl,
Aye.
Councilman Showalter.
Aye.
Okay,
Okay, so the rules can be suspended.
okay.
All unanimous.
Next, we have a second reading of this ordinance. Can I have a motion to read this ordinance?
By title only.
Okay, Councilman Campton makes a motion to read by title only. Second by Councilman Showalter. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance number 18-2022, an ordinance amending compensation ordinance number 18-2021 of the City of Washington, Indiana for the year of 2022. Okay, any other questions or comments on this?
I think we approve it as amended.
Okay, Councilman Dahl makes a motion to approve this ordinance as amended.
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Gress. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Lunsford,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Gress,
Aye.
Councilman Campton,
Aye.
Councilman Emmons,
Aye.
Councilman Dahl,
Aye.
Councilman Showalter.
Aye.
Okay,
Unanimous.
so Beth, on this, I guess whenever he makes the correction with the amendment, then I can just come sign it then.
I'll
'Cause there's no
I'll
need
correct
signing
it
this one.
tomorrow
Right.
and then call you and
Just
let
make sure
you
that he
sign.
also fixes.
Over to council.
Council
Okay,
too.
did you spell your name?
They make, no,
No,
my
just
major,
the
right?
council,
Just
get
council.
double C in there.
And then I'll just come sign it.
Okay, okay. Okay, all right, next we have an introduction of ordinance number 19-2022 entitled an ordinance setting rates of pay and expenses for employees of Washington Municipal Utilities while rendering mutual aid to other communities.
I'll make a motion to read that ordinance.
Okay, Councilman Campton makes a motion to read this ordinance.
Second.
Second by Councilman Dahl, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance number 19-2022, an ordinance setting rates for pay and expenses for employees of Washington Municipal Utilities while rendering mutual aid to other communities. Whereas, from time to time, employees of the Washington Municipal Utilities are called upon rendering aid to other communities to maintain or restore service when the utility service has been disrupted by weather, accidents, or some other occurrence. And whereas the Common Council of the City of Washington sees a need to establish the cost of labor and equipment furnished to such requesting communities in which cost will be reimbursed to the city by the Federal Emergency Management Administration, FEMA, or by the requesting communities. And now, therefore, be ordained that in situations where the City of Washington Municipal Utility employees render mutual aid to requesting communities to restore or maintain utility service, the requesting community must agree to compensate the City of Washington in the amounts set forth herein, and labor and equipment charges will be paid and billed to the requesting communities as follows. 1, labor, the rate of the pay of the employees when performing off-system work shall be calculated as follows. A, all hours worked will be paid at 1.5 times the employee's regular straight time hourly rate. B, all hours worked on Sunday or holidays will be paid 2 times the employee's regular straight time hourly rate. C, all hours worked over 16 hours consecutively without an 8-hour reset period will be paid 2 times the employee's regular time rate. D, during times of rest or sleep, employees will not be compensated. E, salary employees of the City of Washington who participate in the providing mutual aid shall be paid at the same 1.5 and double time rates as noted above. Such employees' based hourly rate shall be determined by dividing the bi-weekly salary by the number of hours worked every 2 weeks. 2, transportation. Personnel and equipment shall be transported to the requesting community by the City of Washington. Expenses of the transportation shall include the labor forced hours involved in transporting said equipment and an actual cost to the City of Washington for fuel and oil used. 3, meals, lodging, and other related expenses. Meals, lodging, and other related expenses will be charged to the requesting community as at actual cost. This ordinance shall be full force and effective on June 11th, 2022, passed and adopted by the Common Council of the City of Washington, Davis County, Indiana, blank day of blank 2022.
What, did you make reference to June 11th?
Yes, because we had this incident up at Richmond, we have to have this on file so we can pay these guys that went to Richmond to work. They worked, and that's when this accident happened, this incident happened. It was a power outage, and it was up there on the 11th, and they came back on the 14th. Well, they went up on the 12th, and it happened on the 14th, they came back, and then we had this storm on the 17th.
So, two things. One is, I think that might be 8-hour rest period instead of reset period.
Yes.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, rest, yes, it reset.
And then I think we need to add number 4, and it needs to say equipment. And say to be charged at the current FEMA reimbursement rate. That way we can cover the equipment too.
Mhm.
I'm making a motion to make that amendment.
Okay, Councilman Brown makes a motion to amend this ordinance by using, for equipment be paid by the current FEMA.
But be paid at the current FEMA reimbursement
Yeah,
rate.
current FEMA reimbursement rate, and Councilman Showalter seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So, on the one that we're paying salary, is there any issues if we're paying them more money?
I was hoping to get like the perf and their taxes in addition to their hourly rate reimbursed.
From salaried employees?
We've never had this with salary employees before, this is be a first.
Oh, I'm not, I'm talking
Yeah.
payments, yeah.
Cause before, you know,
But
As-
that's what I'm
that-
saying.
yeah.
Is it okay? Is it legal? Is it?
I had to guess, we had Tim, you know, look at it, and he, you know, his office sent this to us, I assume he, you know, it's all okay, but no salary employees has ever got this before, because normally as a chief, when I was a fire chief, you go and then you might, you know, turn in comp time, but you never got paid. That's just kinda like,
So Beth, for this one, do we wanna just pass it this way and then try to make an amendment before we have another incident, or change it, or try to amend this one? And what's your feeling on that?
If we could amend this one,
I mean, what would be the language that we'd use under labor? All associated benefit costs?
I would say, time and a half, and then include their perf and taxes in the rate and pay.
Just perf and taxes?
Yeah, I think that would be fair, because we're gonna have to pay those for them to be there anyway.
I know
Beth?
our IMEA director, he used the word burden charge, but I don't know if that really covers, I mean, that just kinda vague, you know, I
Yeah,
thought,
that's very,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure when we do work orders, it's been a while, but I think we included social security, perf, insurance, I mean, I would call the clerk's office and get the breakdown of, you know, how much all of that was, and that's included in the
that's
work
why I
order.
would say, well, maybe they say with all,
Benefits?
taxes and benefit cost.
Mhm.
So you want them to pay,
I mean, we don't have to charge them that, but if it's in the ordinance, it allows us
Health
to do it.
It's included, I mean, on our work orders, do we not do that?
I think so, yeah.
I think we
Yeah.
put all that costs in a work order.
I believe that Lemon had talked to me about that, or mentioned it to me when he was talking about this, that it was all benefits.
You're talking like if there's an accident or something, we bill, a bill for an
When we bill for
accident.
accidents,
Correct.
it includes all of that.
okay.
So I would just.
And some of this information I got, just sample ordinances from other, Indiana municipals, that, you know, and they're all a little bit worded a little bit different and charge a little bit different and stuff, and we just try to find a good median place to charge and stuff, but, I mean, that is something that,
Let me ask this, whenever someone goes and it's during our work time, do they get paid by us also and by them?
If it's during those hours, we probably would, maybe,
You see what I mean?
maybe, you know,
Like
during that
if it's Monday through Friday, regular work hours.
7 to
And
3:30.
we send 3 people, do they still get paid by us?
They're still on the clock,
Well,
I think.
I would think they'd build
They would go to,
community, requesting community.
Yeah,
go to
that's
that
what we would
community,
build.
they would fall under this ordinance then.
From the time we got called.
Guys that went,
Yes.
they worked so many hours
they wouldn't get
Tuesday, so
double.
They
many
wouldn't get
hours
2.5,
Wednesday,
yeah.
so many hours
Double
Thursday.
dip.
Those are the hours that we're gonna charge time and a half for. We're not, and we're gonna pass that on to them,
Right.
so.
My question is, do we also pay them
no.
during those times? No.
Not according to the ordinance,
Okay.
not. Is that the one
Because-
you understand,
See what I'm saying?
Randy?
It's a little different because when on the fire department, you know, the guys that usually went or was already off, and then, so they started the clock at 7 AM or whatever time they left, so
Right.
it's a little different. This is a little different on this side of it.
But when we pay them and just bill them people.
Yes, we pay them.
Yeah, we pay them
And then
regular.
Yes.
recoup the cost.
Well, what she's
This
saying
ordinance
is double
just said
dip,
how
are we
we-
gonna pay them their 8-hour shift? And I would think no, because
Yeah.
we are paying
Right.
them, we are just getting reimbursed for that
Correct,
pay.
and they're getting more money
Right,
Yes,
for that
yes.
But
Right.
period of time and the inconvenience
so
of
they're not
going
gonna
and
get
all
our
that,
single
so.
pay and the,
No,
you
they
know,
wouldn't
Right.
get to.
they're
That'd
getting
be
paid
like
the
2.5
same as if they
times.
worked here.
correct,
for
well,
X hours.
correct,
And then all this ordinance does is set it how
We
we
get our money
then
back.
bill that
Right.
city.
Right.
Bill that city.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause we
Reimbursement.
reimburse them as if they work for us.
Then I would
So-
add the benefits.
So, but then the question is, and then I'm, maybe what Nita's trying to allude to, is like if they're working 7 to 3, we would only pay them their straight time, and if they're up at a place at 7 to 3 on Monday through Friday, we're only gonna pay them, I mean, how do we pay them time and a half?
They
That's
get
not
time and a half.
legal, I wouldn't think.
Well, like,
You get time
these
and a half
guys
after
came
3:30.
in on
After that, yeah.
Tuesday for 3 hours, and then they left and went to Richmond. So 3 hours of their time was
For us.
our time,
Yeah.
straight time. The hours that they were in Richmond then, they got time and a half for Tuesday, all day Wednesday, and then part of the day Thursday they worked up there. And then they came home, and then they were here for 3 hours.
So,
We had 3 hours our time that we paid them,
At the end of the day.
and then the rest of their time was time and a half.
So their hourly rates, their hourly rate is changing for an off system.
okay, but that's not the way it reads, okay, so you're talking about time and a half, okay, so legally, how do we say, well, they're working straight time, 7 to 3, we're paying them time and a half because they went to another place? I mean, how does that fit into the legalities of, the State Board of Accounts coming down and saying, well, that's their normal time?
Because you have this ordinance, I guess.
Well, but that's for billing.
Yeah. I think FEMA allows for that, but I don't have a clue.
I don't know, this is all new
I
to
see
me.
what you're
I'm just
It
saying
is.
that, do we need, and this is maybe overkill, I don't know, because this is something new we're trying to do. Do we need in our ordinance, a rate for
Yeah, we need
off-
to put that in there.
off-grid
Sure, yes.
system work? Do we need to pay?
Merger response or whatever we
And then we
wanna call
don't
it.
have to do all this time and a half, we just say this is the pay, and then here's what the benefits are. And this would probably be the time to do this, if we're getting ready to do.
Yeah,
Right.
but that could vary
I
so
mean, we could do
much.
this to get this person, get these people paid, and we could just
Fix it.
deal with it.
How do you set that pay? Cause it could vary.
Well, I think you could word it in there a little bit different, that it's off-grid service work, no matter what time it is paid at this work, this 1.5, it's not overtime rate, it's 1.5 times their normal rate.
Yeah, this is all new. I mean, we have not had anything like this in
Which
place.
is basically what that says there, but
Yeah.
maybe does it need to be in the pay, I mean, maybe I'm making it too difficult.
No, I think you're right.
I think you're right. I do
Pay
understand.
I
ordinance.
mean, that way we're covered when it comes to time when State Board of Accounts comes down and says,
Well,
Yeah.
since you mentioned that, State Board of Accounts is coming in tomorrow at
awesome.
8 o'clock.
I sure-
So, when they're here,
Jinxed it.
I will ask them that question, what the best thing to do with this is.
But I say we just pay them.
In my office, when I had an office, if I sent somebody down to another city, they got paid as if they worked in my office.
Right.
And that's what we need to be doing with these guys. This is just establishing how we're going to bill.
Reimbursement.
Well, but then the question is, so we're gonna build in a time and a half for
Well,
taking them, and then we're gonna pay our
Yeah,
employee.
That's the question here, and this says time and a half for all the time that's away.
And I think we can do that, I mean, they're being away from the city, I don't,
We
I just think it needs to be in the ordinance.
Yeah,
The pay ordinance.
because we
is
assume
personal
these
space.
people
I
gonna
think
get their,
you're right, and the pay ordinance needs, you go off system, they go 1.5.
we don't normally pay a time and a half
No matter
until
what
they get
time
their
it is.
hours in,
Yeah,
so we
right.
assume they're gonna get their hours in, you know, we assume
And
they're gonna.
working off system is so much different, you know, knowing the feed of electricity, which way it's feeding, where the
Right, it's
substations are.
a lot more
and
dangerous in my opinion.
That's kind of where they're at.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got a couple just sample ordinances if you guys wanna look at them, but, you know, there may be more other ordinances they have on their pay that I didn't
I
replace.
think we can talk this one to death, but we need to get something in place so you can pay the employees that went there.
We
So
should pass
If
this,
you're
we should
wanting
also
to pay
change
them
our
time and a
conversation.
half, if you're wanting to pay them what we're gonna bill them, then we need to at least pass that part of it
I think we need to
tonight.
pay them what we're gonna bill, and then, but we do need to add a part for taxes and benefits. Does anybody disagree with that?
So we're paying them the time and a half, right?
They, on this event.
So, I say we amend the first part where it says all hours worked will be paid at 1.5 hours times employee's regular straight time hourly rate plus taxes and benefits.
Plus their overhead. Yeah, overhead because of that.
Well, I think that's covered overhead of,
Because we pay some of all their benefits, whether it's FICA,
Yeah, benefit.
yeah,
would that be taxes, right?
Taxes
And
and benefits.
Does that cover everything?
Yes.
I mean, would we bill them a portion for health insurance?
Well, that'd be part
That's
of
a big
benefits.
Want-
That's why I
want
wanna say,
us to
I wanna say
break that down
benefits.
into
Yeah,
number of
benefit.
hours that they.
I think we do like what Nita's talking, I mean, I know it's a little bit more pain, but it gets,
I mean, we can do that, but I just didn't know if you wanted to include that. We can do that, and workman's comp.
I mean, I really wish I knew what we would be getting, we're gonna get paid or be charged for, you know, year coming up. Cause I'm sure we're gonna get a bill, so,
Yeah.
I mean, you hate to do something to some city that they're not gonna turn around and do to you, because we all need to help each other, especially in times this.
Exactly.
We don't wanna discourage them from not calling us.
Yes, I've got one of the bills,
You've got one of the bills already from?
yes,
Auburn,
from,
Gary.
Auburn. And you wanna hear it?
Yep.
10,899.15.
Does it break it
That's
down?
for 2 guys
No, they
and 1
probably
truck.
don't know.
Um,
Probably do.
They broke it down, labor, equipment, materials, and that's it.
So it was 2 guys and a truck. For how long?
Yeah, how long was, they got here about like 4 o'clock on Friday,
Friday.
and they left Sunday morning.
Sunday,
So it was all after
3 in the
hours
morning,
stuff.
Sunday.
There was some downtime there, they did take some time off for a little bit, early
And
morning.
I don't know if there's,
Saturday.
some are double time, you know, it's in their ordinance that they get paid double time
Yeah.
on system.
We
So
started-
there's may be,
Which we will do if it's a Sunday, it looks like.
correct.
Or
That's what I mean,
6
they
to
were-
6 without 8 hours.
Every ordinance was just a little bit different when it
I
comes
mean,
to.
I said that, I thought it said resale.
I'm sorry, you didn't see that or?
I still think if we say taxes and benefits, that covers any type of our
Yeah, perf is, yeah.
perf, health insurance,
I
whatever.
could call them.
And we could either, you know, you can charge them, what, you know, I think you break it down, but I just, maybe we need to really look at this probably.
It's, yeah, it's,
'Cause I really don't want to discourage any community from calling us for help,
no,
Right.
but
Because
it
we
is so
overcharge.
new.
but I'm sure our rates might be a little less than anybody else's on the pay.
I think so.
Yes.
On that
So-
bill
so
though
that-
for labor, it
that's
doesn't
probably
break
what
it
they'll
down
call
at
us.
all. It just says labor, so who knows what's in that? You know, it
Yeah.
doesn't say X number of dollars per number of hours benefit, it doesn't, it
How-
just
how
says
much is the
labor,
labor?
da-da-da.
Do
Yeah.
they break
doesn't
down the
break it
labor
down.
portion, how much is
No.
that?
For how many hours?
They don't break the hours
It's
down.
not
to see
broke
what they-
down, it's just a
Broken down.
labor, flat labor of 7,787.
Yeah,
That's a good way to do it, don't break it down, then they don't know what you're charging.
$7,000 for,
So with that being said, if we're charging them time and a half, let's say the worker has 40
Like
hours.
30
It's just a regular 40-hour week, but for 3 hours,
35 extra.
he's called in for what I would call like hazard pay. Like, is it legal to pay him 3 overtime days under hazard pay and 2 regular?
Well, that's
or
the
not?
question I'm raising, whether or not that,
Okay, yeah.
if we
Because
had it in our
if we
ordinance,
can-
But if it's in our pay ordinance.
if we had it in a
it
pay
is.
ordinance that if any offsite grid is this pay, you know, 1.5 is, then there would be no question. and 2 times if it had.
If it can.
If we
like,
pretty much had
I think
that,
it would make
Right.
it.
if we had this language in our pay ordinance, I wouldn't be questioning it. But to me, I feel like if, and it may not be an issue, but if State Board of Accounts wanted to really pick at it, they could.
Well, and you could put in there that, you know, this ordinance amends the
There you go.
18, 20, 21, like
Yeah.
we just did that.
That works for me.
That works
Yeah.
for me. There, I think that,
That would probably be a lot easier.
Special circumstances.
we just talked about the half hour for nothing, Beth. Why didn't you just bring that up minutes ago?
Just-
That, I didn't hear what you said.
Make that motion.
Make that all
Make
down.
this say.
Make a motion to do a best
Now,
intermittent
what was all that stuff?
So
Now, we did,
in there.
I made a motion though to change that first part,
Yeah,
to add
Yes,
that.
for
okay, to add
paragraph
that.
4 and that.
So let's get that one done.
Okay,
So,
Oh,
add the taxes and
Go ahead,
benefits.
Darren.
no, I mean, you can't, all of them are, they're journeyman and everything else, so you can't just put a
Yeah.
straight pay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah,
we just
there's
did
too
here.
much
You
flexibility there.
could- It would be simpler.
Because not
Like,
always-
well, if it's this,
Yeah,
I see what
yeah,
you're saying.
yeah, because it might be a journeyman and it might be one of the, you know, yeah, the grounds, oh, well, not
So
grounds,
she can,
linemen
we
go.
can approve it to get them paid, and then you can
So-
ask these questions.
We could make it a
Well, I think we're gonna make it where,
So I have a motion on the floor
Okay.
to add
Got a
on that first part after the hourly rate plus, taxes and benefits.
Okay,
I'll second it. And then amend.
Okay, Councilman Brown makes a motion
and Dawn
Make the-
second.
make the amendments to this, right? Yeah.
Okay, now, do you want to add number 4, equipment to be charged?
Yes.
Got
Yeah,
that?
I think we've already done that.
Yeah.
We've done that as
Okay,
a
we already
motion
did
and
that,
added
okay.
that, yeah.
Okay, now, do we wanna put on there that this would amend,
that'll be your third.
Pay ordinance.
Yes.
I think we were gonna do, we can add that one, I can add it too, mine. I also, part of my, if you're willing, part of my amendment would be
Okay.
to add after the one, at the bottom of 1, that this amends or pay ordinance 18-2021
Yes.
to include
Yeah.
this language.
For offsite work.
Yeah, for off-site work.
Now, repeat it verbatim now.
No, I hope
That's probably recorded.
hopefully she wrote it down. Now if you agree.
I agree. I'll second it.
I think he already seconded it.
Okay.
Yeah, Councilman Gress seconds it.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So now,
Thank
we're
you.
just, now we're just gonna wait and see if we can actually.
No, now we
Now
need
make
to,
a
now we need
motion-
to
I
suspend
make
the
a
rules.
motion to suspend the rules.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Reread it.
back to this one now.
Wait till make sure.
Beth, whenever you're caught up, let us know.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll let you get caught up.
Okay, so, we've got a motion to will amend ordinance number 1821 to pay employees, and it's called what, out of,
I think in here, it actually was called, what,
Off system.
off system.
Okay, and that will get us through this year, and then when we do the salary ordinance for next year, we can include it in next year's salary ordinance.
That should
whenever
already
we
be
want
in
it.
Well, we can just take this language,
yeah.
transfer it over there like we're doing right now.
Make it officially on
Right.
paper, yeah, officially,
Okay,
I mean, that language will work, it just needs to be in the pay ordinance.
okay,
right.
so now we need to,
Yeah, we're gonna suspend the rules.
okay, we're gonna suspend the rules,
We
okay.
haven't,
Kenny already.
Yeah, so do I have a motion to suspend the rules? Councilman Shore does make the motion, to suspend the rules. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Campton. Roll call vote, please. When you get there.
Councilman Lunsford,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
aye.
Councilman Gress,
Aye.
Councilman Campton,
Aye.
Councilman Emmons,
Aye.
Councilman Dahl,
Aye.
Councilman Showalter.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous to suspend the
Okay, Suspend the
rules.
rules has been approved, okay. Now, have a second reading. Motion to read the ordinance for a second reading.
I'll make a motion to read the ordinance for
Ordinance
second
number
reading
19-2022.
with all the changes, amendments,
Okay.
Title only.
and title only.
Okay, Councilman Showalter makes a motion to read the second reading of this,
I'll second
ordinance
that.
19-2022 by title only. Second by Councilman Emmons. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, ordinance number 19-2022, an ordinance setting rates of pay and expenses for employees of Washington Municipal Utilities while rendering mutual aid to other communities. Okay, any other questions on this?
I just asked that we check with Tim on the salary.
Yeah, we
percent.
will check with Tim when he
But
gets.
I just don't want us to get into a sticky situation
gonna-
if we're not supposed to do it.
Okay.
He's gonna look at this with the amendments anyway, he's gonna be going, what?
Yeah.
This isn't what I sent him?
I mean, if it's doable, I'm fine with it, but.
Advance
We'll
check
get
or
his,
anything.
we'll
I
definitely,
think it's doable,
Yeah.
because we have the authorization of the council.
As long as, well, I mean, he's talking about the salary.
Salary
Oh,
personnel.
the salary
Just the
employees,
salary
Oh.
personnel.
the salary personnel, if
Okay.
we can do that with them.
Okay, that won't be an issue at this point, so.
We haven't done it before, so
Because we haven't did it.
I can't say yea or nay, but,
I make a motion that we adopt the ordinance
Second.
okay.
as amended.
Councilman Brown makes a motion to approve the ordinance as amended, second by Councilman Campton. Roll call vote, please, when you get there.
Councilman Lunsford,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilman Grass,
Aye.
Councilman Campton,
Aye.
Councilman Emmons,
Aye.
Councilman Dahl,
Aye.
Councilman Showalter.
Alright.
Okay,
Thanks,
and
Bob.
we knew this would be sticky
Yeah.
because it's
Thank you guys.
not been done,
And thank you guys for
We knew
going
it.
up there.
I knew it'd be challenging.
Yeah, coming
Dave,
back
we're
here. Yeah,
suspending
and
you.
coming back and facing this.
Hopefully it don't work like that very often.
It's gotta be unanimous,
It's gotta be
yes,
unanimous.
yes, it's gotta be unanimous. If
Darren-
there's one,
Darren asked me
yeah,
that
if there's one
earlier, and I
person don't
didn't
wanna
know.
spend in that, yeah, it says here, yeah. Unanimous vote by all present,
Which
Yeah.
that's happened before.
Would you?
all present, you
I
know,
don't
that's,
even know if it's actually, I don't think it's Jerry.
What, Jerry?
Not the one I remember.
okay.
When I was here.
Oh. The one I was thinking of was different.
All right,
Somebody sitting over there where you're still.
anybody else got any other business out there in the audience for the board of, common council tonight? Hearing none, I got, just a reminder, I just wanna remind, you know, the 4th of July celebration starts at the park, Friday night at 5 p.m. and continues on through Monday at 10 p.m. for the fireworks, so at 10 p.m. on, Monday. And just a reminder, everybody knows this, that the city offices will be closed on July 4th, no trash pickup on that day. Okay, anything else? Councilman Gress, you got anything for,
I think we ought to commend all of our employees. They've done a super, all the departments done a super job in our time of need.
yeah, it's all employee, all departments, yeah.
All the departments.
Yeah, they did a great job. We're about cleaned up, almost, and, yeah, everybody.
Picked up our trees anyway in our yard.
Yeah, they did a good job. It was,
Yes, they did.
48 hours there. It was,
Pretty tough.
Kinda wild.
yeah,
A wild little windstorm.
yeah. Okay, thank you. Councilman Dahl, you got anything?
Everything else.
Councilman Showalter, Councilman Brown.
Did you say times on the park?
Um,
Start at 5.
yeah, yes, I got that.
Starts at 5 o'clock. and ends
Starts
at
at 5 o'clock on Friday, 5 to 10 on Friday, 5 to 10 on Saturday, 5 to 10 on Sunday, and, 3 to whatever, the fireworks are over with, 3 to 11 on Monday.
One other thing, we went fishing on the island.
Island?
And it's great. I don't understand the two pipes under the road, but I just really don't understand that in a lake.
He said there's circulation issues with
Yeah.
the winds blowing.
Yeah. It can't hurt.
Did they convince you that?
Well, you do, I mean.
I'm
you know
just telling you
what's
what he said.
Okay.
So with me, dead
Other
spaces.
than the people climbing the lighthouse, it's been great.
Well, yeah, that's just only, not too
But
many
it,
times.
but
I
it looks
hope.
great, guys.
Yeah, it does.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Okay, anything else besides the times?
No food truck Tuesday next week.
You have no food truck Tuesday on the next 2 weeks because of the 4th of July. Okay, thank you. Councilman Campton, Councilman Emmons, Councilman Lunsford,
I had heard that Bobby Andis donated one of his trucks for,
yes,
I
and we
think, the
reached out
entire
to,
weekend, and
reached out to him and thanked him, and I've been reaching out to some of the, places that donated food, and, you know, the community was great.
It was great.
They did a good job. Everybody reached out and helped each other, so that's a great thing. Okay, anything else, Darren? Beth, you got anything?
The water's not good.
Just, I guess I already mentioned this, but,
They're
we're working on budget right now. quite a bit in my office
Is this
right
state
now.
board their normal, is this the normal
I'm
thing?
not-
Well,
just
we
use
get
guys,
more
although
than
they
$750,000 in
Federal one.
federal
But the
money.
mold, unless you've got the
And
state
we
one,
have
go through and.
bonds that require us to do annual reviews, they come in every year.
But this isn't the one with the opening and the closing that
Yeah, you'll be opening and closing.
when's that?
I don't know, they haven't set the time up yet.
Okay, alright.
They're just coming in tomorrow to get things set up and then they'll
Hopefully
set
it's
that up.
Wednesday after.
Might not be this week, might be next week. I don't know, depending on
Alright.
how their schedule goes.
That'd be better for me.
Okay, I'll let them know that.
If they could work around my schedule, please.
Well, Tim's not here this week, so he usually has to be there too, so.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, all right, hearing nothing else, this meeting's adjourned. Board of Works and, Safety in 5 minutes. All right, let's call this meeting to order, please. City of Washington Board of Public Works Safety, June 27th, 2022. First thing we have on the agenda is approval of minutes of the June 13th, 2022 regular meeting.
I'm gonna approve those as written.
Councilman
second.
Dahl makes a motion to approve the minutes as written, and Councilwoman Ash seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Alright.
Opposed? And in front of you, we have the claims tonight that's submitted from the council for approval.
I'll move to approve the claims.
Second, Councilwoman Nash makes a motion to approve the claims, and Councilman Dahl seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Alright.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, next we have, assume Shannon Wilson, 411 Northwest Second Street to address the possibility of extending the alley that currently runs from 4th Street to 407 Northwest Second Street to run behind her house. Okay,
I've never done this before. so
well,
I
that's,
know what to tell you. Google Maps apparently was having a pretty good day the day that I took this picture because there's not a lot of traffic shown parked on my street. I live on the cul-de-sac side of Grand Mansion, and normally the street is full to the point where, if myself, my daughters, or sometimes even the neighbors happen to have company, there's no place to park. Right now, we only have, well, I have 3 drivers in my house. I have 1 driveway, and I have a hydrant in my yard, so that greatly limits where people can park in front of my house. Behind my house, apparently, it has been zoned to go, for the alley to go all the way up to behind my house. And I did a drawing, I don't know if it's gonna help or not, but, the dotted line is the point where I want to extend the alley. The straight, solid line is where it already goes to, and the dotted is where I wanna extend it to. And then I did a Google Maps picture to show also, I've got about 15 foot space behind my garage that is the full width of my property, which I think I have 50 feet behind my yard, 15 by 50 feet. That would be ample parking space. Plus I have an already built-in little walkway between my garage and the neighbor's tree line, that has been a natural walk-through for all the neighborhood kids for years. So I've got plenty of space to work with. That would get 3 cars, plus each of my children's significant others, plus my significant other off that street, and kind of open it up a little bit. Plus my next door neighbor would have places to park in back also. They also have just a skinny little driveway. And I guess I should add that since we've gotten some new people living around us, we've also got a lot more people driving around us, with young kids, all teenagers who all have vehicles right now. I know that right now the trash department, the street department, different places like that have difficulty if it's evening hours trying to get down the street to do any kind of work. And I think once or twice people have had to move their vehicles. So it just would free up the traffic a little bit.
It's a tight cul-de-sac, that's for sure. I mean, it always has been.
Does the existing alley make it up to your property? Is it in south?
The existing alley is south.
Does it go past 407?
It is.
Or does it just go to 407?
It's gravel, and I think it has at one time been paved up to 407. Behind that, you can still kind of see where once upon a time traffic used to come up through there, but it hasn't for years. So it would need to be broken up and gravel resurfaced.
So who uses the part that's already there? I mean, do people drive on that, or
yeah,
what?
the first 4 houses there on this side use it, for parking. They've all got parking pads behind their houses. The one house even has their garage back there that they use.
But they don't pick up trash or anything there?
No.
No.
It's
No.
just a,
Yeah, it would be way too tight.
It's just it's like an easement for us.
so
I
have
mean-
you talked to your backyard neighbors to see if, I mean, what if y'all just gravel that yourself, or what? Or, I'm just wondering.
Well, I broke. Trying to work on some home repairs.
Say, you say, does it go past 407 or stops before 407?
It stops just past.
Because, have you talked to anybody, like, anybody next door, 47, 409, have you talked to them about this?
409 is a vacant house right now. We actually have been using their driveway because the house was kind of abandoned some time ago.
But it has to have, I'm sure, I'm not sure who owns that 409, I'm not sure, I didn't look to see who owns 409, I don't know,
Just changing into my Board of Zoning Appeals hat here, and I'm looking at the Google Maps on this. It looks like, and emphasis on it looks like, where the alley right-of-way would be, you may have structures that have been placed there, and we'd have setback problems. So, and there again, you've got that tree line, and I think that tree line is actually part of the right of way. And if you put an alley in there, that alley may have to jag to the west a little bit, and you would need to sort of have a survey in there to find out exactly where
you're
the
going.
right of way line is. It would save us a lot of problems in the future. if
And-
you got that all hammered out
And
now.
verify that it hasn't been vacated at some time in the past.
That easement, for that. Well, we looked at this, we've talked about it, it wasn't on the agenda last meeting, but we talked about it.
There's utilities there.
There are utilities there?
Yeah, but this is on the west side of Northwest Second. Like I said before at the last meeting, I think I mentioned it, that the east side has got the same situation. That, it goes up the same way and stops, basically. It don't go all the way through, because it can't, because it don't even go to all the way to Graham's property.
If you guys could just look into it, that would
Yeah, we
make
can-
me super happy.
Yeah, we can look into it. And
Maybe a
there's
parking
there's several
garage
things that
situation
need to
or
be looked at. Because, and of course, we need, you know, just going across there without talking to property owners, I mean. And we talked about, I think, we talked about, we'd like to see it go all the way to the Graham's property if that's the way, but I know Mark Edwards still lives next door to you, don't he? I'm not sure how he would feel.
Well, his children cause a lot of congestion in the area, so he may be okay with it. Plus, it might give him actually a place to park his camper. That would be in a little bit safer location than what it is.
The house
I
just-
believe it's been hit once or twice where it sits.
The house just north of hers has a pool that would definitely be in the middle of the,
The house next, what?
this to the north.
Oh, to the north.
Whoever-
Yeah, Mark's got, yeah, he's got, yeah.
The 413 has,
That's Mark Edwards.
has a
Yeah,
pool
he's
and
got
a
a
fence
pool.
line. It's right in the middle of the easement.
We did have a pole on the east side of that.
I do my fence stops
Use our
at the end of the
backyard unit.
garage.
It's on track.
What-
I mean,
What
it
am I
would
seeing
help,
right
yeah.
here?
It would help get us back out.
Oh, that's on the other side of, this is my house. This is my property on this side. That little line there,
No, this right here looks like it's one of the next fence or something up there.
that I don't know. But no, there hasn't been since I lived here. I've lived here since 2008. I think this was like.
I'm getting ready to,
3 or 5
just
years
don't
ago.
know, I'm getting ready to.
Right.
I was just, quick.
The tree line that runs, it's a
Can't
little
see, but my ears are
misleading.
still good.
There's like a tall tree here, and then there's a bush line along here. There's like one tree here and one tree just right at the edge of my property line there, is all there is. But if you use just to the side, which I don't know, there's not a tree on the actual alley line, there might be an easement issue like was said. And then there's power lines back on this side. There's nothing actually in that space that's power.
Mayor, can we have Ed and Brian look at it?
Yeah, Brian, you got anything you wanna add to this?
I would say that, a lot of information needs to be gathered before we make assumptions on what sits where and where that easement actually goes. And, I'd also say that it affects a lot more than abandoned house and one on the cul-de-sac, cause there's a whole nother street on the other side, 3rd Street. It's gonna affect every one of those houses in one way, shape, or form, whether they want it or not. It's still gonna be there for them or not, so.
And, Ed, and also
And we
the
don't know
other,
what sort of utilities are running underneath, so we need to.
the
do
other
utility
department heads, I
updates
wanna get
to the
input from them
alleys
too. I mean, I wanna ask all of them, because electric and other, everybody, yeah, we'll have to look into it, gather some information.
That is all I ask.
Okay, very good. Okay, okay,
Thanks.
all right, okay, thank you. We'll be doing that and then we'll get back with you. Okay. Okay, next we have discussion and award of bids received of the 2022-1 City of Washington CCMG paving project advertised on 5/24 and 5/31 of '22. As you know, we opened bids and the 2 bids, you still have record of that. EMB was $769.25, $925.70, and Millstone was $895, $887 even.
So we've reviewed, the bids from both. Our, consultants done bid tabulation on both. They both met the requirements, so it is our recommendation that we go with the lowest responsible and responsive bidder.
And you wanna tell the board real quick, and I'll let you explain what we found out about the CCMG,
There's a chance that what I told you might change again because of, some really nasty feedback from a lot of communities.
I'm sure.
Basically, when you apply for a community crossings grant, you have to obviously know what you wanna pave. Then you have to place some sort of a value on that through either having it tabulated by an engineer or getting an estimate from a private company to know what you're applying for. So you get estimates for X, Y, and Z streets for X amount of dollars, and then you make your application to the state on that CCMG application for, let's just say, $500,000. Well, then, if you're awarded that, they award you, we're a 50-50 match at our size of city, so we get $250,000. That's our half. So then it goes out for bid, which is what we're discussing here, and if it comes in at $750,000, historically, communities have had to pull back and cut streets off so that they don't overrun their $250 match. They are not allowing that. So whatever you apply for, whatever you are granted, you have to take it or forfeit the whole thing. But like I said, since I told you that, he got back with me and said they might change it again because a lot of your Brucevilles and your Bicknells and your Plainvilles and your Elnoras of Indiana, they don't have the budget to, they don't have the resources to tabulate these things like we do down here being a larger city. So it would knock them out of applying for the CCMG altogether if they can't get it more accurate. And with what did Nick say? We're at about a 6% per month increase.
Well, yeah,
you're never going to know what you're going to if you, because we did this in January and now we're approving this today. So
we did lock some pricing in, if you remember, back in the spring, and that really helped us, I think, a lot. Because they told us we had 19 streets we applied for, and they said, you know, they came out and said, if you don't do all 19 streets, you can't do it. You just turn your money back in. You can't knock them off to adjust your price. So we was quite fortunate. What one of these bids is and what we estimated is fairly close. So there's not much we'd have to make up if we have to make it up, unless they change the rules again.
So we're over what we originally bid it at, not by much.
Yeah.
I figured that the low bid was gonna be closer to what Milestone's bid was gonna be, but,
Yeah.
you know, so if we wanna do it all, we're gonna have to come up with a little bit of money here and there, but, you know.
Order of magnitude on a little bit.
What's that?
What's the order of magnitude on a little bit?
45, was it 45-ish? 45 or 50?
40-ish, 40.
40,000.
Yeah, about 40,000.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
And other communities, there's some
I mean,
communities that
if
have
we
come
end
up
up
with.
doing all of it, it'll be the largest paving project the city of Washington's ever done, and you all have been the elected officials that did it right before an election year,
He's
so.
just throwing that out there. And,
I move we award it to the lowest responsible bidder.
yes, I do, okay.
I can take the brunt of it, I'm not like,
I'll second that. I agree we should take that.
just blame me, you got, just don't blame me.
So we'll see how CCMG plays out and what we have to do, but we wanna do those 19 streets that we, we projected as part of this, needed it, off of the grading scale that we go by. Okay? You get that? David's, made the motion, I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, very good, thank you. Next, we got discussion approval of 2 salary position changes. And one, wastewater department, and the second one, we have pleased, the first one that, if you'd like, I'll read the,
Vote on it separate,
yeah, I think so.
yeah.
Yeah,
You'll have to
I think so,
abstain on
yes,
one.
yes. So the first one, the Board of Public Works Safety, City of Washington, I request the following salary changes for the wastewater department. Dirk Rhodes, head operator, 2176, to IDEM certified class 3 operator, 2634, effective date June 25th, 2022, signed by the department head, Roger Patterson, assistant superintendent.
I'll move and approve it.
I'll second.
Okay, Councilwoman Ash makes a motion to approve this, Councilman Dahl seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
And I'll abstain. Okay. All right, and then the second one, I request the following salary change. Daniel Christie, Detective Captain 2603, to Assistant Police Chief 2663, effective June 25th, 2022. Department, Police Department, Department Head Derek Devine, 6/24/2022. Any questions?
I'll move we approve that one also.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Councilwoman Nash makes a motion to approve this, salary change, and Councilman Dahl seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And then the last thing we have, a discussion approval of one sidewalk curb replacement application. Jonathan couldn't be here today. This is just one extra one that we put on there that we've been working on a utility project out there at Eastside Park. So our next move is to get busy on these sidewalks, which I think we've approved about 12 of them so far. This would be maybe 13. This is applicant of Kimberly Osmond, 1507 Grand Avenue. The owner's cost share would be $1,111.50. The city's cost share would be $2,037.76. Total project cost is $3,149.26. Of course, this is submitted by our building commissioner, John Casper.
I move we approve it.
Okay, Councilman Dahl makes a
second
motion to
that.
approve this, sidewalk, order, and Councilwoman Nash seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's all that's on the agenda tonight for the Board of Works. Does anybody in the audience have anything for the Board of Works tonight? Okay. You guys have anything?
I have nothing.
Anita, David, Deb, you got anything?
I have one thing.
Okay.
The wastewater department is leasing a truck with a camera on it. And I'm going to put out the bid for financing, and we should have those bids back next board meeting to review and accept or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a mainline camera.
Do we have one already?
No, we got a portable
Oh.
camera. We don't have a mainline camera like this that's mounted in a vehicle that we can drive through, you know.
Well, here I go and ask that question again. Was that turned into the rate consultants whenever we did the rate study? Seems like we're spending an awful lot of money with sewer, and I get to see any rate study on sewer, so.
Well,
This truck
yeah,
is
to answer that,
$199,000.
Baker Tilly does know about this too, you know. The girls has kept them in the loop because they've been working with, which one of the girls that Baker Tilly they've been working with? But,
You mean at my office?
no, up there at Baker Tilly, yeah. So, yeah, I haven't seen those rate studies back on those other 3 utilities. I just seen the one so far. And, we keep requesting them, so we can see that. But on this, you know, we had one place give us a rough idea what this was gonna cost and stuff, and it would keep, this department, utilities would have to put back about less than $5,000 a month to make the payment. It would be, the payment would be roughly, you know, $50,000 a year, $54,000, so it'd be, but we'll find out. We don't know that for sure yet, but.
Requesting a 4-year lease. First payment not due until next year.
Yeah, we had another way to go on possible option, but, we have the screens down on the CSO project that are down right now. We don't know what that's gonna cost to get both screens are down right now. We're got an outfit trying to figure out what the cost of getting those back up and going the screens. So we don't know what that, so this other option we had to go, we were a little reluctant about doing it that way because we don't know what that's gonna cost. And, been paying out on the wetlands, just so that you guys know, in the wetlands, but we're keeping up with that. We've been paying as we go on that, and that's, you know, 3-year project of $100 and some thousand that needed to be done down there that wasn't maintained like it should. So, yeah, that has been a lot.
When they need to go on the road.
Yeah, and then,
Highway
and then there's the highway project down the road that we won't know till February. With inflation and the economy the way it is, it could go over, but we'll find that out later.
When's your next election? Do you know what's gonna happen? When is the next election?
Next year,
Yeah. Okay, just saying.
but I got Brian. Yeah, I got Brian
You
down
got
there.
Brian?
Oh, yeah, you hear what he said a while ago about the other thing?
I'm just saying the rates, I'm just worried about the rates.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
but we also said at the council about those rates, that we're gonna look at those and we wanna keep them, you know, hopefully at a small percentage.
That's why we need to do them every 2 years.
Well, we've been
Not 3
trying,
years.
yeah, we've been trying to get them on board,
But
but,
we need to start maybe a year and a half then.
well, I
Takes
think,
this long.
we almost been doing it that.
Our ordinance says
It's
every
been
2 years,
forever.
we charge.
After we get the next one.
We've been
Our
working on it
customers.
for a long time.
It just seems like these have taken forever.
It
Yes,
is. I
a
don't
lot longer
understand
than
why
normal.
it's taken so long.
Yeah.
We charge our customers for those.
Stormwater came back fairly quick, and then all of a sudden, the other three hasn't, but,
I need to see what stormwater says.
yeah. Okay, anything else? All right, Beth, got anything else? All right, hearing none, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you.